try to tell you to rock the vote, but they never really want to hip hop the vote. Not pop, they don't want to rock the vote. They align with the people that block your vote. Sidewinders, red line, and crop the vote. Reckless and irresponsible, traitorous, shit's unconscionable, and the death toll astronomical. At the polls, we gon' hold them accountable. Election time, election time, election time, election time, election time. As time goes by, election time. Full man they cry, election time. Fish man they mess, election time. Election time, election time, election time, election time, election time, election time. Since we got the right to vote, people been down to fight to vote. Even though they suppress and lie on the vote, there's still people that are willing to die for the vote. It's the people that kill with tomorrow at home. Only organizing is the antidote. And even though I don't trust none of these dope, I still vote the Black Liberations Platform votes. Hey, my cosa, my cosa, my election time, election time, oh, my cosa, election time, election time. They never gave our will of the right to know what it's like. So many had to physically fight and give up plenty of lives. Rather than bigots, so why we still living in times when color is criminalized and they openly kill us, but we know the reason they try to keep us from having a piece of this American pie. It's just one country, two political lines, and both sides want us home when it's election time. Them deaf and blind, some call it selection time when they pretend to let us pick who's next in line. Expect to find the same kind of deceptive guys on either side, just like exemplified, and that's just fine. The truth will stand the test of time. So if there's power in my pen, I'm flexing mine, but check the rhyme. Better yet, let's rewind, cause real change never came with election time. It took fire to burn the bad habits slow. It took smoke to choke out the status quo. We tried asking for our rights and they answered no, but would they rather have a bullet or the ballot though? Do they want disease or the antidote? Do they really want us in peace or panic mode? Living on our knees or casting votes, planning revolts or abandoning hope? It's up to us to upset the setup. Bum rush the poll place, vote like we fed up. Thief for vendetta forever, we never settle or let up. We blow the hell up to them politicians, get up. Everyone we've been neglected by, cause none of them think our freedom is a vested right. I stand tight with the people with a sense of pride. All of those who've been swept aside when it's election time. Las elecciones que no sean en vano. Election time. Vamos pa' la calle con machete en mano. Election time. Las elecciones no sirven para nada. Election time. Seguiremos pa'lante y nunca pa' atrás. Dale más cosa, dale más cosa. Más cosa, election time, election time, election time, election time. Oh, más cosa, election time, election time, election time, election time. Más cosa, election time, election time, election time, election time. Oh, más cosa, election time, election time, election time, election time. Election time, 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 election time.
Yes. Good morning, America. Good morning, world. And well, guys, it was too bad that you could not see us rocking in his chair, in the green room for this song. Thanks, Amos, for picking this song for our intro today. And well, we are only 3 days away from the elections, and we are here today with our holiday edition. And as usual, I would like to start to ask my panel how they are. I would like to start with Jana. How are you doing today?
Well, it's a blue moon. It's the first blue moon since 1944. So I'm feeling the energy. I'm looking forward to a great Halloween and whatever's coming in the next 3 days.
All right. You know that there's something growing out of your head, right?
Right. They keep telling us that all of us progressives just want unicorns and pie in the sky dreams. So I'm just going to be a unicorn and keep waiting for Medicare for all.
Yes. Okay. I can see. All right. Amos, how are you doing in Jersey?
Yeah, we're living the Halloween nightmare, but hopefully this will be over in a few weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, exactly. And of course, from Washington State, also Oz. How are you doing? And you told me that you would like to address the audience to talk about something also. But first, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. How's it go, Shanda? Wax on, tubing off. Wax on, tubing off. Wax on, tubing off. Okay, never mind. No, I just wanted to apologize to the audience yesterday. John ran a show, a fireside chat with Shahid Buttar, and they had Susan Sarandon and everything. John was engineering that show. I know a lot of you thought it was me, and I want to thank you for giving me shouts out. But John forgot to identify that it wasn't me. I just wanted you to know that, because I don't want another member of Uphill Media engineering a show and you guys talking to me and it's somebody else. So I just don't want you to feel bad when they don't respond to you because you're addressing me. That's all. So I just wanted to let you know, and I'll remind John, hey, we got several engineers here, and please identify yourself. Thank you. So there you go. That was it.
All right. So yes, as I said, we are 3 days away from the big elections, and where there's so much going on. When I thought this week, what can we talk about on the Halloween edition? Should we talk about all the shenanigans which are happening around the mailings? Well, we decided, to talk about the easy stuff, the easy but scaring stuff, and. Well, and if you look at our card today, there's only missing, that there's a silhouette of a kind of werewolf, Donald Trump in the moon, and supervising the scenery there.
Is that what that's in the moon? I thought that was something else. I kind of see it. Is that like a Rorschach test there? I don't know, a butterfly test. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can discuss this more intensively later on the Halloween show from you guys. The Beauty and the Boomer. There, I think we have a lot of time, and I think this would be quite interesting. A Rorschach test there.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe we should do this. Anyway, we should open the show for today and have a look at the topics for today. And we will have a look back in time. We will talk about Harry Houdini, and he died 94 years ago. Arms is surrounding the curb on elections. We will share a scary moment with Kamala Harris. Happy Kamalaween. Then we got into the serious stuff. When I said that we are going on the easy stuff today, it is not true. Because we got to, of course, talk about the environment, the climate change, and the Arctic won't freeze is one aspect of this. The other one is an update from Amos regarding the Kamchatka disaster. Yes, and we will have a look at the cartoon week. A few days before the elections, and we found some good stuff, and I hope you enjoy the show. And at first we would start with Harry Houdini. He got famous until today for his magic, for example, escaping situations which a normal guy could not escape, and he got very, very known around the world for what he does. And there we got a picture of him, and the funny thing about is, I would like to start with how he died, and when he was with a couple of students, and he was talking about his ability to withstand hard blows, hard punches. One of his students suddenly punched him twice, and he got Harry Houdini completely unaware of this, and this caused a tore appendix, which kept unrecognized. As far as we know, he did not directly went to doctors to check him up, and he waited. And in the end, in October 31, he died from this punch from one of his students into his stomach. And crazy story if you ask me. And in 1874, he was born in Budapest. He immigrated from there. He was born as Eric Weiss, and at a very young age, when it got clear that he has certain acrobatic abilities, he joined with 9 years old. He joined a traveling circus, and he performed at the trapeze and worked as a contortionist, etc. And later, in 1908, he dared to do more dangerous stuff, from all the things from which we know Harry Houdini today. And well, it is quite interesting that in his late days he was damning all those trickster magicians, as he would call them, because he said his magic was pure, and it was pure magic. There were no tricks behind, and he also got somehow into the occult. And before he died, he and his wife, they made a promise that if any one of them would die, they would find a way from heaven or ever from what sphere ever to get in contact with either her husband or the wife. And well, when he died, his wife waited for 2 or 3 years, and there was no sign coming from Harry Houdini. And at least she said the experiment is closed and failed. Well, that's how Harry Houdini died. And to give you an expression, I found some rare footage on YouTube. If you could run this, there we can see him jumping off a bridge with handcuffs. And please show it. Well, Harry Houdini, and what I think is remarkable, if you had a look at the audience everywhere, they don't seem to be much impressed from what he did there, because I don't see hardly a move, when he came up from the water again, and there were no cheering, as it seems, nobody was waving his hands. They were just staring at the scenery, and I don't know, maybe it was New York. Anyway, so this was Harry Houdini. Do you guys have anything to say to Harry, to the first story we have?
I just want to say that there's a Houdini movie that Tony Curtis did back in, I believe, the 60s. Very entertaining movie. I think Tony Curtis did an excellent job portraying it. But, of course, it was Hollywoodized, but it was still very entertaining. So if you get a chance, check that out. I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. Thank you.
Melissa's right. She brought up the point that he was debunking. He took it upon himself to debunk. He was a skeptic, so he was trying to debunk all these people who were pretending to do sciences and stuff like that
Yes.
Evoked the dead. And he ran into a problem with the spiritualist Church of America. There was a group, and there still exists. There's a church in Lake Pompton, New Jersey, that where they hold galleries every weekend to bring up the dead, and they disliked the fact that he was fighting them.
Interesting. I did not know this. Interesting point. Yeah.
His house is still in it's preserved in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I went to his house. It's an ordinary looking house, and to think of someone who was that much of a star internationally, he lived pretty humbly in respect to that, and I thought it was brilliant from a Jewish Hungarian boy to present himself as this Italian.
Yes. Yeah, he had definitely he had a nose, how to make money out of his skills. He definitely had, right? He had a good sense for it, what the people would like to see in him. All right, so let's go over 3 days before election. I cannot repeat myself more often. Amos. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I was too fast. We're having a look back at history. What happened today? In 1517, Martin Luther posed the 95 Theses, and which meant later that the formerly Catholic population, especially in Germany and over Europe, separated into the Protestants and into the Catholics, and it later led to the Bible, which was printed in Latin and later translated also in different languages, so that the average person, if interested and had the skills to read, could inform firsthand what was written in the Bible and were not necessarily in need of priests who say what is right and wrong. And this was a big upset at that time in the beginning of the 16th century. In 1961, Stalin's body was removed from the Lenin Corps. The USSR government did not want to go on with the personality cult around Stalin, so they decided to close it up, And in 1950, Earl Lloyd became the first black player in the NBA. If you look today at the NBA, you cannot imagine that that it was ever different, that it was starting in 1950, in 1993. River Phoenix dies, the brother of Joaquin Phoenix. You may know him from movies like Stand By Me, one of my favorites. And, he died too young from an overdose in a club. I think it was somewhere in California. In 1864, the U.S. Congress admits Nevada as a 36th state. In 1984, the Prime Minister of India is assassinated. It also has a history. Mahatma was killed, and in this case, it was Indira Gandhi. And it was all around the separation between Islam and Hinduism. It was a religious fight, which still moves on until today. If you look at the situation in Kashmir with Pakistan and India, etc. And I don't want to go into details now, maybe at a later time. In 1963, Ed Sullivan witnessed Beatlemania firsthand, and he was paving the way for the British invasion. And in 76, King George III speaks for the first time since American independence declared. A lot of things happened today in the past, and let's hope we have a easygoing day, with nothing dramatical, occurring. And now I would like to go over to Amos, and 3 days before election, what can we do? What can those do who did not cast their vote yet?
Well, at this point, it's probably a little late to. I would consider it a little late to send it. If you must, you would do that. But preferably, if you have early voting or you have boxes set for drop off, probably that is the better way to go. And this election, as we all know, is so different than previous elections for various reasons. We've actually gone into this whole topic on the progressive update with where Oz and me had a discussion about the possible scenarios that will play out over the next 4 weeks. And it seems really like a perfect storm. The main concerns that we have with election is in three different directions. Perhaps there's more, but that's what comes to mind. The mail-in vote, that the concern that they may be delayed or blocked after November 3rd arrival, even retrospectively. I know that they took it to the courts. The courts have, in some cases, blocked any acceptance of any extensions of receipt of these votes, even if they were dated by November 3rd. So it may happen that people are going to send a mail that's not going to be arrived, and it would be blocked midway. That's one concern. Or there would be sabotage, and that's things that are the right has more been promoting that idea that somebody is going to do fraud on a massive scale. And one has to remember, though, that to do that, one would have to capture all the mail that goes out, all the ballots that are being sent to people, and sign in their place, and then return it and sign the same way that the individual signs in the original record. So it's not that easy to do. I don't think it's possible at all. You would have to have a huge organization that would take care of that, and if that happened, it's very easy to leak. I mean, if you have so many people involved, it would come out. So it's virtually impossible that there'd be a massive mail balloting fraud. But nevertheless, that there's concerns. People are promoting those concerns, or there's concerns out there. And the other thing is voter intimidation. There's a concern that the call for voting intimidation to take place is there. The right has called for people to be poll watchers, and that seems to some on the left as a dog whistle, or as a coded call for intimidation. People standing with rifles and weapons in front of the polls and such. I don't think anybody has to worry about it or be intimidated, even if that happens, because nobody really knows who you're voting for, and they won't know. All they can do is just stand there and look imposing. But that also, it's important to know that you can't be a poll watcher. You can't just show up and be a poll watcher. You have to have training. You have to be certified. So if somebody's trying to come to polls and take pictures or watch what's going on, they can't just show up. So be aware of that. There's also concern of the post-election mayhem, shenanigans, dispute or contest of the votes, and that's my greatest fear is that the scenario of Florida 2 years ago, where Trump has alleged massive fraud in order to affect the post-elections outcome, will repeat itself on a national level. And all he has to do is present situations, and there's not going to be any, like, there's no elections where there's that is foolproof. There's always little incidents here and there. The question is not whether that's the case, there's ballots in the dumpsters, whatever, but the question is if it's at the scale that could affect the elections in that state. So if the margins are wide and they found 100 ballots in a dumpster, that's not going to mean that the whole elections are fraudulent. In 2 years ago, when it happened in Florida and the alleged fraud, they put in a commission to try and dredge up, figure out if there was fraud, in Broward County, they had a year-long commission and they didn't find any evidence of fraud. So it just shows you there's a lot of tendency to exploit situations that may look bad, but may not have much of an impact on the overall count. So basically, there's been some organizations that are now involved in this, and the Carter Center is one of them. I very much support their effort. They've been involved in other countries that where the elections are kind of very sensitive. They have now decided that the U.S. falls under this category, and they're going to monitor the U.S. elections as well, and that includes sampling and all kinds of other techniques. And they've produced also a video that you can play in a minute. There's also one other organization that if you're a content provider or a journalist, you should watch material that's produced or articles produced. They have a whole kit and a course relating this information that is provided by an organization called First Draft. So look it up, and I think all of us should really look into it before the elections, so we can figure out how to counter misinformation or lies that are being circulated. If you want to play the Carter Center video.
Oh, look at them, getting ready to take part in history. Right now. From right there. Yep, and you can too, by voting this year. Now you're gonna want to buckle up for this one. You've heard of going to the polls on election day, casting your vote in person, the stickers, But if you're like her and want to be extra safe, you'll be glad to know you have other options. You just have to find the one that's right for you. Like voting in person before November 3rd. Early voting options can mean less crowds and shorter waits, and we all love that. Or voting by mail, sometimes called mail-in voting, other times called absentee voting. It's the same thing. They both mean requesting your ballot, getting it in the mail, and returning it as soon as possible. Well, all that's left is for you to make your own plan. I know. You're probably thinking, how is he so comfortable with this? Does it really work? Is it safe? Are we going to be okay? Well, Americans have been voting early and by mail since 1864. So we've had about 156 years to get it right. And each state is different, but they all take precautions to keep elections secure. Like tracking ballots to guarantee every vote is counted once and only once. So, my fellow Americans, let's get to the polls. Or get that mail-in ballot. Double check those directions and don't forget to sign it. It happens. No matter how you do it, your vote, your voice is important. Because making history takes us all.
Thoughts, anyone?
What do you mean? What? Give me some ideas.
No, not on the video. On the topic of election concerns.
My concern is all these lunatics that have been, like I said in the green room. I've got 10 times more people out target practicing today, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think these morons are getting out there ready for a revolution. No matter what side of the aisle they're on, we're going to have violence starting, November 3rd at 5 o'clock and going through how many weeks? That's my opinion.
So I'm a certified poll worker. Every election, I go and monitor our ballots. We are a mail-in state and have been for 5 years now, so we don't have actual polls. I mean, you can go to our auditor's office and cast your vote on the day of the election, but most of us choose to mail in our ballots. And we've led campaigns to get drop boxes all over our county and postage paid, because postage wasn't paid to return your envelope for a while. But I'm happy to report that 65% of my county has already voted this election. So we've got a strong turnout this election locally.
That's great news. What I would like to mention is that it's very hard for international election supervisors, to get access. There was a report lady from Deutsche Welle, German Wave, who reported that international election supervisors are only allowed in 32 of 50 states. And among those which they aren't allowed in is Florida. And well, this also tells much, right? I don't know about the other states, but I can imagine it concerns the other swing states in this election. So, so there would be no international, certification that everything is going on, that everything is going okay.
And that's true, but there's like I have to say that the Carter Center, and I do trust the Carter Center as a bipartisan organization that's dedicated to integrity, vote for election integrity. They feel that we're pretty secured. That see, the thing is, in the U.S., all over the place, there's different voting systems, even within states. And that's, in one way, it's a strength, because you can't just hack the whole system and affect everything. Kind of like viruses were not attacking smaller devices because they couldn't produce one-fits-all virus for these devices. So that's a good thing. But on the other hand, it's very difficult to reassure people that their system is safe and proof, because there's so many different variants. So it's more of a communications issue, but they're pretty confident that the systems overall are pretty safe. And they do stuff like they check that there's no double voting. Everybody's tabulated and checked, their signatures are checked. They're making sure that they're not getting more vote results than the registered voters or the received ballots count, and so forth. And it's one important thing that they stressed out in their materials is that it's a fact that results are not going to be fully known on the election night, as we know, and that's not a democratic hoax or PR. It's really the case, because a lot of states do not do a pre-count of the votes. With that said, some of them are counting ballots that arrive in other means, by drop off or by mail, prior to the other votes or in parallel to the other votes. And so they said the notion that prior votes are necessarily going to advance Republicans is incorrect. So it may not be if we see Trump leading in some votes, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be reversed subsequently.
I think what you're saying is you feel secure in the voting process this time. Is that correct? And if that is the case, I have something to say to that.
Yeah, I trust that the experts that are monitoring know what they're talking about.
I do not trust the experts at all. They can't even do a primary correctly. The chain of custody is the problem. We've had so much election fraud in the last two primaries. I can't see where that wouldn't spill over into the general election in one way, shape, or form. First of all, the optical scanning machines use a thumb drive to tabulate, and the chain of custody on those things, not to mention the paper ballots, is highly in question. So until we as a nation have more faith in our system, we're always going to have people like me who are going to challenge it. I do not trust experts because I see experts going on the mass media, the paid mass media, paid experts, and there have been too many times where the experts have been totally wrong or incorrect or have not even mea culpa'd on that. So anyway, yeah, I agree to disagree.
Yeah. Those are people that their whole career or their whole business is dealing with these things, and they've thought long and hard and had previous experiences. So we're not talking about a bunch of dummies
No, I understand that, but what's their price? What is one's price to give up? Are they willing to risk? I don't trust them, Amos. I'm sorry, I don't.
Those, even if they're like third-party independent organizations that are doing it.
If it was consistently a certified organization outside of the United States that had no corporate ties, absolutely I would consider trusting them. But anything internal, I go back to the fox watching the hen house. And these corporations have so much money throughout. You could trace money back to all these corporations from the oligarchs that run the thing. That's all I'm saying. You know, that's just my opinion.
The Carter Center has been like an internationally well received organization for years. They've been involved in monitoring many other
outside the country, outside the nation. Yeah,
I don't think it's any different inside the country. They apply the same methodologies, and they're pretty transparent about their process.
Well, I cannot say much to this because I'm not an American citizen, and I never had the burden to vote in America. You know, I have the luck to vote here in Germany. We are doing this with paper ballots. We are doing this with mail-in votings without any problems. Okay, Germany is much smaller than America, but somehow we can make it that we get the election results at least a couple of hours later, you know, and we gotta see that the whole election process is in contrary to Germany. In America, it is to prevent people from voting. This is the basic thought behind, and not to get people to vote. And this makes the situation completely different, because I can only shake my head, you know, if you guys are talking about voting machines and stuff, how to manipulate all this stuff. Well, you know, they can only say, you know, a nation who wants to send people to Mars in the next few years, you know, they should easily deal with proper elections if they want so, but they don't, and that's the problem.
Can I make one last comment? This is just a neutral. If you really want to see what's going on, Jordan Chariton did an interview with Chris Hedges yesterday. That will open your eyes. That might incur questions from you, Amos, on Chris Hedges' points. But I think Chris Hedges knocked it out of the park. So it was a Jordan Chariton status quo. So everybody in the chat, please watch that. That will really be a wake-up call to those who can appreciate what Hedges is saying. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we got to wait 3 days, you know, until the day. And, well, we should start, you know, to get some shivers, right? And for this we found our today's card, you know, the Kamala Ween. And I remember back at the first time when I heard about her, you know, yeah, that guy came into my mind. I said, Kamala, I know Kamala. And it was that guy. Well, he is unfortunately is dead already. This is the real Kamala. And he was a wrestler, which you might already have seen, and he was working, among others, for the WWE at that time. And, well, this was my first impression. Okay, Kamala who? Well, so Kamala, the other Kamala, you know, which we have to deal with in the next few years. Well, she had an appearance on 60 Minutes this week, and well, you know, for me, this woman, she makes my hair stand up, you know, at my spine, you know, at my back, you know, because this woman, she's so fake, and I can't stand her, even her voice, you know. It's like long nails on a chalkboard, you know, scratching there. And if you see, you know, she was described to be in a show. In the CBS show, I guess it was, from what we are seeing short clips, she was described as the most liberal politician in the U.S. in the Democrats. You know, at this point, it was right at the beginning of the interview. You know, I said, okay, holy shit, what the fuck is this woman talking about? She flip-flopped around everything, and a single payer is a fucking joke for her, and if you just do the first clip, and before I go on, ranting, just show
Marcus.
the first clip, and yeah.
Yeah, before you run the clip, there's a little body language slide I made.
I wanted. Okay. You can do this. I wanted to do this later, but you can do this in advance. Okay.
Yeah, because
Please,
you can then look at the video and pay attention to that. So basically, I looked up the library for body language. Oz, if you have that slide over
What
there.
number is it?
It's the slide after the videos.
That one?
21.
Yes.
21.
Yes, exactly this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, an evolutionary throwaway gesture thought to have arisen as food rejection mechanism by infants, sometimes indicating genuine focus on a task or a deceit or agitation and unhappiness. She's obviously very, very uncomfortable in that interview.
Yes. Cringeworthy. And now please run the first clip, Oz.
You're very different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
Yeah. Well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. You've supported legalizing marijuana. Joe Biden doesn't support those things. So are you going to bring the policies, those progressive policies that you supported as senator, into a Biden administration?
what I will do, and I promise you this, and this is what Joe wants me to do, this was part of our deal. I will always share with him my lived experience as it relates to any issue that we confront. And I promised Joe that I will give him that perspective and always be honest with him.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No. No, it is the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who also, likes hip hop. Like, what do you want to know?
Well, I want to give you the opportunity to address this, because at the Republican National Convention, President Trump made the case that Joe Biden is going to be nothing more than a Trojan horse for socialist policies, for the left wing of the Democratic Party. Are you going to push those policies when you're vice president of the United States?
I am not going to be confined to Donald Trump's definition of who I or anybody else is. And I think America has learned that that would be a mistake.
So just to button that up, because you have fought for Medicare for all. That's not something that Joe Biden supports. If you become vice president, would you say to a President Biden, you know what, we should really be pushing for Medicare for all, not a public option. That's just not going to do it. That's not my value.
I would not have joined the ticket if I didn't support what Joe was proposing. And so our plan includes expanding on everything that Joe, together with President Obama, created with the Affordable Care Act. By contrast, you have Donald Trump, who's in court right now trying to get rid of a policy that brought health care to over 20 million people, including protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and he's doing it in the middle of a pandemic that has killed over 215,000 Americans.
Tupac is dead.
Thank you, Marcus.
Damn. It was, well, you go, guys. Yes.
What do I got to
Yes,
say? It's been said 1,000 times. In a time of the pandemic, it is literally insane not to get 100% behind Medicare universal health care. This shows right here how unqualified she is for the position of vice president. Not to mention, she'll probably be president when Joe Biden steps out for medical reasons. So again, this is not inspiring people to vote for that ticket. It's all about because of Trump, not their policies.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do a mix, with all the politicians laughing away, what for the average person, is absolutely necessary, right? We last week or 2 weeks ago we saw a giggling Darth Turtle, in I think it was Amy's, I don't know his last name, giggling away, that he. That he's risking the lives of so many. And there's another point, exactly, you're exactly right, Oz. In the middle of a pandemic, you should push for an agreement, that you should get some money in the pockets. She just didn't mention it. It's everything is vague, and she tries to sell herself. She tries to paint herself that the mainstream mostly might accept her. Her show, her performance, and she fails so miserably doing this, because it shows, as we say, nearly every show that she is so fake. She's so fake to the core. The perfect Halloween gift she made with this interview, I guess. And we got more. Oz, please do the other one.
So with the fight over Barrett's nomination all but over, where does that leave Democrats? We put the question to Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris in our 60 Minutes interview.
Amy Coney Barrett's going to be the 9th justice of the Supreme Court, and that will cement a conservative majority for generations to come, 6-3. What can you do about it?
Well, right now, I'm asking everybody to vote. And vote early. Where's the camera? Which camera should I be looking at? Vote early. Because the American people can make a decision about what the future is going to look like.
But if they vote for you, what can you do about it?
Well, the future of the court is always going to be a function of who is in office in the White House. And I believe that the American people can trust that if Joe Biden had the requirement to fill a seat on the court, he would do it in a way that would respect precedent like Roe v. Wade. And that's what's at stake in this election, as much as everything else.
Ridiculous, right? Could she really be surprised by that question? She felt so uncomfortable, and she only reaction was to laugh it away, and regarding the question, still no sign of courage, no sign of balls, no sign to do something which might hurt the Republicans, to give a preview on what might emerge from the Amy Coney Barrett nomination. Nothing. She only said, "Go vote." That's all. Holy shit.
That question kind of actually put her in a troubling position, because if you're talking about Barrett's nomination, that's kind of done. So now what? Are we waiting for the next Supreme Court justice to drop? It could happen, but I think the damage is already done. Now the question is, what do you do? How do you reform the system? What do you do? And she didn't address that. I think in the first one, you saw her tongue, her body language there. She was so uncomfortable. She would have leaped out of her seat and ran away if she didn't have to do this interview. And the problem is there that they decided on a strategy to pivot to conservative centrist voters.
Yes.
And because of, and at the risk of losing people on the left. And that was their strategy. I don't know if it's going to pay off. Maybe it's going to pay off electorally. But she's in a bind where she cannot say anything. What do you say? Are you progressive or are you not progressive? She could just try to juggle it and laugh it off.
Yes, but
right. But it doesn't come off as authentic because it's not. You can't be both at the same time.
But I'm sorry, at this position, you got every help you need. You got every trainer, I think you got preparations for those interviews. So you get confronted with those questions, and this answer was in its stupidity, It was, I don't know what I can tell to this. This was absolutely unprofessional for a pro-politician, right?
But really, what could she have said?
I don't know. I'm not one of her advisors. If I would get a lot of money, right?
But if you're like saying one thing and then you're saying the opposite, and then you're asked to reconcile them, you can't.
It's
an
not the first
impossible
time.
logic.
It's a trademark move, right? She was talking about healthcare, and then she stepped away. That's her trademark move. So, well, But again, I think if she had advisors, who train her to answer certain questions, which might be harder than the usual softball stuff, right? For this, I don't know how her reaction could be. But this was weak. This was so terribly weak, in my view.
Well, she did say that she's on board with whatever
Joe Biden says. Yeah.
So that was the best answer she could have given, really. But the first part is clearly exposing how uncomfortable she was being confronted with this inconsistency.
I think she could have offered better answers. I mean, truly, she didn't have to push back on Joe Biden. She could have elevated him. Actually, I think if she had the right wording, she could have done more good for Joe Biden instead of basically falling on her sword for bullshit in that interview. She could have said something on the order of, we've got the pandemic, we have this situation, we need to improve our health care system, without saying get away from the for-profit medical insurance system. But they told her what she can and can't say. I don't think there was anything there other than her trying to respond to the answers by giggling herself time to do it, and that's been said in the chat. By the way, we're going to need a mop and a bucket for that segment to clean up the chat. People were vomiting all over the walls in there.
Okay, this is exactly it. It's painful. It's Halloween. And we got another one. We got a ghost from the past.
Oh, shit.
Twitter feed. Slide 22, please. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she is. Hillary is back.
Who is that? Who is it? Is that from Madame Tussauds? I think they've got it mixed up.
I don't know. I think it was originally AOC, and they tried, to change it into Kamala Harris, right?
A little bit too much orange for me.
Yes, yeah. Talking about orange. Well, there's Hillary Clinton, and she says in 2 weeks we could call this birthday girl Madam Vice President. IWillVote.com. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, glass ceiling just got shattered. Oh my God! I'm going to pee my pants.
I hope everyone is scared right now.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so proud of my sex.
I am too.
We're making strides.
You betcha.
Working hard and getting there the proper way.
Climb every mountain.
Yeah, I see the comments in the chat here, and yeah, I'm so sorry, Melissa H. I'm sorry that you were just eating, and
I just ate. Yeah, Melissa.
I warned you. It's the Halloween edition, right?
God dang, yeah, it is horror show.
Yeah. Horror show. Good that you mentioned it. We are going to the next topic, and it's Kamchatka. And Amos, what do we have? You have an update on the Kamchatka disaster for us.
Well, it's an interesting topic. There was, to whoever does not remember, there was a big washout of dead sea life in Kamchatka, which is western North Russia. On the Siberian Sea, and there was a mystery what caused it. Some people assumed it had to do with fuel leaks because there's some facilities there. Russians have shot back with this in the media, and here's the news article that they produced.
Октябрьский шторм в Авачинском заливе, нетипично теплая для этого периода погода, и вода в
That's going to get the show ripped down, but we'll play it anyway.
океане.
No, no, no.
На ней
Then better stop.
золотистая
Don't
пена.
play much of
Это
it.
особые микроорганизмы, и их цветение называют красным
Yeah,
приливом.
better stop
Чтобы
it.
увидеть это
All right, yeah, because we
Yeah,
got
I'll tell
ripped.
you.
Yeah, we got ripped down
Okay,
for Turkey yesterday. They're certainly not going to do it for Russia.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Look this
You
this
Russian
up on
bot.
your own. What I'll tell you what they claim is they're saying that it is red algae bloom that caused it. And they're insisting that that's what happened. There in that article, they're also showing that there's like a cooperation with various organizations and Greenpeace and so forth. In fact, Greenpeace is not so much a part of their effort as working alongside with them, but they present it as if Greenpeace is one of the organizations that came to that conclusion, which is not the case. Greenpeace is still calling for third-party, unbiased investigation of what happened. So whether it is or not, I don't know. But even if it is a red algae blooms are becoming a huge problem, and they're caused by leaking of chemicals and fertilizers into the ocean, and by warming of sea oceans, which is caused by our changing climate. And so that could become a huge issue in a much wider range of areas. And it's not something that should relax us.
Yeah.
And the second thing that came this last couple of weeks was a wash up of thousands of seals washed up dead on the coast of Namibia. Wait, that's the wrong picture. But well, in fact, if that happened, if there were really Navy SEALs that washed out, I think we would be hearing it in every news media a lot of the time, even if it was just 100 of them. But
Definitely.
The fact that it's thousands of SEALs that got aborted and died, and some of the ones that got washed onto the coast were emaciated, is not much of news anymore. If you want to run the, do you think we can run that other video? It's not Russian.
BBC should be okay.
Now, conservationists are sounding the alarm after thousands of dead seals have washed ashore on the coast of Namibia. They estimate more than 10,000 have died in recent weeks. The vast majority of them, say Ocean Conservation Namibia, are premature pups. The exact reason for the die-off at the seal colony at Pelican Point isn't fully clear. One of the most likely causes is thought to be lack of food. Well, let's speak now to Nodir Dreyer. He's the co-founder of Ocean Conservation Namibia, which has been monitoring the situation at Pelican Point. Welcome to you. Thanks very much for being with us. So bring us up to date on how many seals are known to have died.
Hi, Samantha. We were out there this morning again, and at our estimation, we might have been a little bit too conservative on our initial counts of around 5,000. So just the colony that we're dealing with, we're estimating probably in excess of 7,000 dead pups alone. And these are the premature pups, the tiny little aborted fetuses, if you wish. They and that's not counting the adults, the adult females and other pups lying dead on the beaches too.
And what's the likely cause thought to be?
Well, in history, I mean, this has played out a few times before, and it's normally been chalked down to food availability. It is the most likely cause right now because the animals are very emaciated. They're very thin, lying on the beaches, obviously very malnourished. And you see, these females don't have a huge range because they're all still attending current pups on the coast. So if the fish are too far away offshore, they just don't have a means to get their fill and come back and nurse their pups. So they abort their fetuses basically in an attempt to save themselves.
And can anything be done by humankind to help them?
it's difficult on
Die
such a big
off.
scale. I mean, if you had a couple of isolated individuals, you could set up rehabilitation centers and try and feed them. But then again, it also the other big factor is that we can't say for certain that it is starvation. There could be toxins involved, there could be sickness, disease, and until we have a clearer picture of what the potential threats are, it's very difficult. You also want to avoid too much human-animal interaction too.
And you have suggested.
Yep. So, yeah, pretty sad stuff. And you said what we can do what can we do us to help them?
The human race can just die off. Make sure they lock down all the reactors first. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we saw how wildlife can rebound when humans are not around, both in Chernobyl and in the first months of the coronavirus. And
yay.
And we're like, nature is very strong, but we're apparently stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the bad news don't stop. You know, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the situation in Siberia, about the late summer situation there. They had until 38 degrees Celsius temperatures there, and you can imagine it doesn't look very well for the ice region there. You know, and this beginning winter, we also see the same troubles there, because we see that the Arctic doesn't freeze anymore, and we know that the climate change is the influence for this, and scientists gave us 3 reasons why all this happens, and why it doesn't look very good for the future, that it could be stopped. Well, if you see that the Arctic as a whole, this past summer was at its warmest since least 1979. The satellite measurement started then to deliver information on that. Well, it is worrying, you know, because the ice is melting, the water is rising, and what does the water do once it is freed and not ice anymore? There we have the other thing. This was also coming up, I think, in the beginning of this year, when scientists found out that the melting water rapidly melts the ice than before, you know, and the warmer it gets, the faster the ice is melting, you know, and this is exactly what the scientists also found out. What's going on there? This is another factor, you know, which favors the fast and increasing melting of the ice, and we are losing the protection, you know, from the radiation from the sun. You know, the ice, the shelf, was reflecting a lot of radiation from the sun, and you can imagine if this shield is once gone, you know, or getting smaller and smaller, the radiation gets directly into the sea, and this also increases the temperatures in the water, and this also leads, you know, to a faster melting. You know, it's a devil's circle what this concerns, you know, and it is the scientists see no signs of stopping this. They don't know. There probably won't be a clear tipping point for the sea ice, and the latest conclusion is they have on this topic is, if you've been ignoring climate change and hoping that it will just go away, now would be an appropriate time to pay attention on this, you know. And well, we got so many problems today, you know, be it the coronavirus, be it political nature, but there's one thing, you know, which is undeniable, which should be in the absolute focus nowadays, and the fact that it's not is deeply worrying. regarding that we maybe only have a time window of 10 years, well, what can be done in 10 years? Nearly nothing, If you imagine that that it would take years only to come to agreements about deals how to handle this crisis, well, I think it's too late for anything. What do you guys think? I would like to start with Jana. She is nodding her head.
She's nodding her horn there. Yeah,
I'm nodding my horn. Yeah. I think it's too late. Sadly, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's so unreasonable, and for us as humans, that we are holding ourselves up with mostly absolute important things, in comparison to what's going on, with the climate crisis.
What's the total population of the planet? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amos, and then you can answer my question.
More than 8 billion.
Okay, go ahead, Amos. Then I'll go.
I don't know whether it's too late or not. I just know that there's no price that we should spare to try and avoid that fate, and perhaps it will soften the blow if we do, even if we don't quite make it. So there's nothing to lose. I mean, otherwise we can just pack up everything, give our children or the next generation toothpaste and toothbrush, and we'll. You're
absolutely right, Amos. We cannot give up, But if you see, that we as a human species, that we are willing to throw our world into the toilet, and flush it down, it says a lot about our state of mind, as a species. And well, you're absolutely right. We cannot stop, and but it doesn't look too good, right? Yeah. Okay, this was the bad news, the real bad news, and we are looking forward. We are looking what was happening this week, and we are doing this in a cartoonish way this week. And there were some collected some illustrators, and we would like to show them. Here we have the. The conflict, a Trump voter might be in or not. I don't know. Well, what you've got to lose. We've got so much things to lose, right? Yeah, and there's a certain call going to Nancy P, fork over, 2 trillion COVID relief, or all governors who have mismanaged their states are going to get it. Hello. She's already weaponed, not with ice cream, but with a gun in this case.
Why does she have a gun?
Yeah.
Maybe
she's holding them hostage.
Oh, I thought she was going to use it on her ice cream freezer.
Yeah.
Just a question here.
Yes.
Why do you think Nancy Pelosi is not acting on getting this stimulus package out?
Why is she preventing it?
Why is she preventing it? And I'm not saying there isn't somebody helping her, but why is she specifically doing that?
I think it's personal, and she got her fridge packed with ice cream.
Well, did you hear what she said this week? That if the Democrats win the House, she's going to run again and stay for another so many years?
That's a clear threat.
Yeah, that is
sure the hell is.
I think she's rooting for Trump to win.
Yeah, it kind of looks.
But to answer your question, Oz, it's great for fundraising right now. The Democrats are completely fundraising on the fact that they're not pushing a stimulus.
That's what I thought. It's for those who aren't engaged, for those who aren't really seeing who's fucking us over. It's great for that contingency to dump money down a sewer, which is the Democratic Party. So
they are requesting a bigger stimulus than the Republicans. That's the contention, that the Republicans are not willing to go all the way and invest in what Democrats think is
then call them on their bluff and take the 1.8 trillion that Mnuchin offered And I know you're referring to what McConnell said, the 500 billion, which is nothing. But Mnuchin at one point 2 weeks ago, they had agreed on 1.8 trillion, and they were holding out on that because of what, Shanda? Remember, it was something to do with testing, money going for testing. It was really a weak reason, is what I thought.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I just wanted to go on that. I hold both parties culpable, all parties culpable in this. While they're going to go have their octopus and their roast beast for Christmas, the holidays, people are losing their homes, their health care, they're being out on the streets. These guys are not even pushing crumbs off the table. And guess what? We're all arming up in one way or another, whether it's with our mouth or weapons or whatever. It's going to come down hard. And when they put garbage in, like this Nazi they just put in the Supreme Court, that doesn't make anything else better. So that's just where I'm at. People are pissed, and they're getting desperate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, next one is early voting. Says it all, you know. We talked about this earlier. It's ridiculous to see all those lines, you know. I mean, it's ridiculous in the normal times without Corona, right? But nowadays, it's fucking crazy to see, and I admire those people who are standing there for hours and hours and hours. I heard about stories they were standing there 12, 17 hours in line to get their votes cast. This is absolutely ridiculous for me as a European, as a
I
journalist.
thought that was a food bank line, or is it the same line?
No, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same early
Same
voting
line.
yeah.
Okay, same line.
Same
Food
line.
bank.
It goes on the left and the right, but they had not enough space, you know.
Okay. Just want to be
But
clear.
let me just say one thing about that, and that's because somebody posted a picture of people in a line standing for one of the drop-off locations, early voting, locations in New York, and then people responded to it as if it's a matter of that it is voter suppression. Now, it would be voter suppression if the following day or the next few days it would be the same thing. That would mean that there's some issue. But that's not necessarily the case. Here we have example of something that we should celebrate, the fact that a lot of Americans are willing to go out and stand in line just to be sure that their vote is counted. It's not necessarily, long lines are not necessarily the indication of voter suppression, though it may be. It has to be checked in each situation.
Wow. Any comments? Well, I only can say that the demand says we are in the capitalistic system, right? The demand says it how many polling stations you might have. You know, and the demand of the people is there, but the demand of those who are in power is absolutely not there. Anyway, let's go to the next one, and we got this. Secret Service or FBI agents, you know, they are talking about packing the cord. Yeah, and we got them all, you know. Donnie the Hub in the middle. Everyone is there. Where's Putin? Kidding.
He's behind.
He's sitting on it. All right. Yeah. Next one is our most famous turtle. You know?
Oh God.
And And the who is it? Madsen, the one who draw this. He clearly forgot, you know, to paint his hands black.
Yeah, he's a walking corpse.
Yeah. Yes, he's absolutely. Walking Dead should consider to hire him.
Somebody needs to tell him he can't take it with him. Maybe he'd back off.
Yeah. Right. Next one is Amy Corney Barrett.
Oh, yay. I'm so looking forward to packing water again.
Oh, my God. This is great.
Yes. House birth will be very, very, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be the funnest part.
They set clocks and calendars back.
Shit.
Yeah.
Buy stock and coat hangers, you witch.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Next one is, we know this. We've seen this. You know?
More terrifying.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I like that, that he's raising the two fingers. This is not only the sequel; this is his second term. Then, if he wins, yeah. Anyway, next one. Yeah, he's pushing Dr. Fauci over the cliff. I think Dr. Fauci is relieved, kind of, being finally pushed by this idiot. And how did he manage this with those tiny hands? How can he push someone? Damn it!
Oh shit!
Oh yeah. All right, and then the next is a reference to Herman Melville, of course. and I wonder why didn't he draw the white whale, a little bit more Biden-like, maybe with a fly on it or something.
Well,
But
some of
anyway.
the Republicans are jumping ship or are starting to do that dance where they know that the polls are reflecting that. So Ted Cruz did an interview yesterday where he was talking about the deficit and you could just see him like, well, I never supported Trump on that, like they're starting to pull away from Trump
No,
because they're preparing.
If Trump loses, you will not find anyone who really supported this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
None of them. It was like a natural disaster. He would be described by them by a kind of natural disaster, like an earthquake or so. Something which was not to prevent, even in its whole stupidity now.
Yeah, we had no control. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And well, the next one, it's the elevator. Yeah. We will see on election night, Maybe we'll have a déjà vu, or maybe not. I remember this 4 years ago when he came down on the elevator, and I thought, oh God, yeah, he's going down. He's not going up. He's putting the country down. This was so symbolic, right? Anyway.
Yeah, the escalator moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Locks him up, for those, I hope everyone is done with breakfast, or brunch or whatever you have right now.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this one is that fish glows in the dark too. All right.
Yes.
This is a suburbia-related one.
Yeah. Hey guys, vote for me. I will keep the basket of deplorables away from you.
Oh, shit.
He will.
He's now saying that suburban women and suburban people should support him because he's not allowing building of low-income housing next to suburbia. So that's his promise to suburban America. He thinks it's going to bring him the votes.
Yeah. Keith Hayes, it is not Captain Bligh. Sorry to correct you. It is Captain Ahab. Captain Bligh was the bounty captain. But you're right. Your image fits anyway. All right, guys. Well, that's nearly everything we have for today. We'll have a look at Amos. Amos, tell us about what's going on next week.
Well, next week we're going to have a election watch the day after election day, and all of you guys are welcome. We're going to have discussions to see what we can glean from the information that's already available at that point.
All right, okay. I will try to make it happen. I cannot promise this at 5:30 p.m. This is no, you're East Coast. This should work. Yeah, maybe I'm with you, man. All right, and then of course today, Halloween, the big Halloween show from Oz and Chanda. The special. And I guess they will have some surprise guests also. We don't want to tell. Do you want to tell anything about the show for today, or do you want to keep it secret?
Go for it, Chanda.
Oh, we've got a great show lined up. We've invited the chat to go ahead and come into the green room. If you want to join us tonight in costume, you can send us an email at Roar Media Live. And we've got an amazing show lined up. We got a couple of costume changes already coming in, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Great
fun.
to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got Going to be on the Convo Couch on Election Day from 2 to 3 p.m. We're going to be not running through our studio, or we're for an hour from 2 to 3, and then we'll be opening up later that evening on a simulcast with another channel. So check it out. Convo Couch, 2 to 3. Come on in and give us a high five. We're going to be with our sister and our brothers over there at the Convo Couch. What did they say? We're going to be kind of like giving them time to go to lunch and go to the bathroom, take a shower, and do all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so. We're just going to kind of take the ball and run with it for an hour so they get a little bit of a break. But then on Women's Wednesday for the dive, we have Graham Elwood stopping by as an honorary woman.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I can't wait for that. So
political vigilante.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it. Other than Oz is still fighting with the new mixer. So
yeah,
we're going to work on it tomorrow.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, that's all for today. Thanks to Chanda. Thanks to Amazon. Thanks to Oz for being with me. Thanks to our viewers. You know, thanks. You're great. You know, that you're showing up every Saturday is absolutely wonderful. You know, and yeah, we are doing this for you. You know, we are family, and we all need to feel better in those crazy times. And yeah, the topic again. We are talking about crazy. You know, we are going out with a crazy rap song. It's ERB, Epic Rap Battles of History, and it's Trump versus Biden. And I hope you guys like it, and see you next week, of course. You know, tune in for our other shows we have on Apple Media, and hope to see you later for at Beauty and the Boomer. Enjoy and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's the DJT, getting it on. The Teflon Don on the White House lawn. Against wimps like you, I'll win a third term. Your campaign's like your family, crash and burn. Looting and violence will keep the MAGA movement quiet. Resist me? That's a riot. Why'd you step behind the gym? I'll be standing by. See how tough you are against the 45. I should've hoped for your whole party. Bigger than the one I blew through cause I'm Soleimani. Then I go and bone on Milani. I'm gonna smash you, Joe. Like China. I got all the best cognition with all the top grammar. I'm not a little girl's shoulders, so you can't touch this MC stammer. You're a disaster inciting hysteria. You say I'm selling hate in America, you're selling hate in America. Like with Hillary, the people aren't swayed. Just Barack's shadow, and I don't really like the shade.
The pain of losing loved ones is something I have seen. So I know how you must have felt when they killed Jeffrey Epstein. Rap lyrics just ain't for you. You should stick love letters for Kim Jong-un. You're a wrestling heel. Nothing about you's real. Bitch, you didn't even really write the art of the deal. But you tapped into the rage. You read Mad Hatters. Well, let me tell you, Trump, all lives matter. I don't want to defund no police. I picked a DA for my VP. I'm not a communist. I'm not a socialist. I'm just an old ass man with some decency. No matter what you try to say, global warming ain't cancer. You pulled out a parachute, should've pulled out a Stormy Daniels. I ain't sleepy, I'm tired of you, Donald Trump. You're fired.
The only thing getting fired on my watch is tear gas from law enforcement. I'll keep America great. You'll unleash Antifa and keep America like Portland. Ain't nothing gonna beat me. No person, woman, man, camera, TV. They impeached me. I still walked out of D.C. looking peachy. You got the sloppy Joe but no beef. The only white privilege I see are those teeth. Maybe teach your son a thing or two about life. Like there's no hunting season for your dead brother's wife. You and your mask and your Knight Rider shades are getting revoked like your Roe versus Wade. There's no blue wave. Forget it, not coming. Like I tell criminals, Joe, stop running.
Was Breonna Taylor running? You dog whistling fool. I think your daddy would finally be proud of you. He was a racist asshole too. What's this malarkey?
Oh,
Keep at it and you'll end up in jail, hoss. I'll take you down like a mule and you're a mailbox. From all your wives to the SATs, everything you ever did, you just had to cheat. Cause you're too insecure to even look like a loser. You're the worst damn Republican since Herbert Hoover. When you scooped up a sycophantic overflow loser, became the Constitution's domestic abuser. 200,000 deaths lying at your door. You think they're suckers like McCain in the Marine Corps. Sometimes I can't tell for which side you room. When we go high, you go down on poop. Truth is, you're scared to lose. You got nothing in the bank that I owe you. You're white about balance like a bitch. But the only thing that's rigged is taxes for the rich. You're a freeloader. Change your name to Trump. My campaign train, but you can't get down the ramp. I'm pulling away faster than your wife's hand. For the love of democracy, will you shut up?